Welcome to the Brain Alpha. Today, in this explainer, we are going to completely unpack the scientific blueprint behind elite productivity. We're talking about decoding the exact framework used by the world's most successful people to achieve what honestly looks like superhuman focus. So, if you've ever wanted to know how to trigger peak performance literally on command, well, you are in exactly the right place. Let's get into it. Okay, let me ask you a question. Have you ever struggled to complete a task that really should have taken maybe 90 minutes, yet after 8 hours of slaving away, you still haven't finished the thing? Yeah, we have all been there. It's kind of the universal plague of the 21st century workplace, isn't it? We're constantly battling these rapid-fire distractions, feeling that horrible sluggishness of modern work, and then, carrying around that heavy burden of productivity guilt when we hit lunchtime with barely anything done. But here is the good news. There's actually a hard neuroscientific explanation for why this happens, and way more importantly, a reliable way to solve it. And that solution lies in a 4-pillar framework that literally separates the constantly overwhelmed from the effortlessly productive. We're going to cover Pillar 1, flow blockers, Pillar 2, flow proneness, Pillar 3, flow triggers, and Pillar 4, the flow cycle. So, what are we actually aiming for here? Well, flow is a state of consciousness that makes work feel absolutely effortless. Think back to a time when you were completely absorbed in an activity, maybe writing, coding, surfing, making music, whatever it is, where time just seemed to vanish completely. That was flow. And let me be clear, this isn't just some nice-to-have feeling. Flow is what powered Alex Honnold's terrifying gearless climb up El Capitan in Free Solo. It was the exact state Sam Altman's team at OpenAI harnessed when coding ChatGPT. It's the very same state that drove Marie Curie's pioneering research and even Einstein's theory of relativity.
The thing you have to understand is, flow is not magic. It is hard, measurable biology. When you enter flow, your brain experiences a profound physical shift. You get hit with this incredibly powerful neurochemical cascade. Basically, dopamine and norepinephrine sharpen your focus, anandamide helps you make lateral connections, and serotonin and endorphins just make you feel incredible. On top of all that, your brain physically shifts into alpha and theta brainwaves. This biological cocktail literally alters your brain's anatomy in the moment, drastically increasing your capacity for learning, creativity, and productivity. This is the literal brain alpha state. But to get there, we gotta master these 4 pillars.
Let's start right off with Pillar 1, flow blockers, which is really the 21st century trap.
Think about getting into flow kind of like running a marathon. You obviously can't run if you have a broken leg, right? Well, right now, 80% of people are breaking their focus before they even get out of bed. Seriously, 80% of people check their phones within 15 minutes of waking up. And by doing this, you're instantly flooding your brain with a massive dam of flow blockers: distraction, uncertainty, and attention deficit trait. You're literally blocking the river of your focus from naturally flowing forward before your day has even really begun. So the ultimate countermeasure for this is what we call the golden rule: flow before phone. To conquer this first pillar, you absolutely must secure 2 to 3 hours of deep, highly productive work on your biggest priority in the morning, entirely before you turn on or ideally even touch your device. Look, I know it is incredibly hard to break an addiction that was intentionally designed by thousands of engineers. I get it. But once you actually experience the profound productivity of those uninterrupted morning hours, the reward of flow will completely overrule the addiction of the screen. All right, moving right along to Pillar 2, flow proneness, which is all about your baseline tendency. If flow blockers are about fixing a broken leg, flow proneness is more like your overall cardiovascular fitness. So how do we optimize it? Well, we replace that sluggish standard waking routine with a pretty radical tactic called the 90-second rule. This literally means waking up and getting straight to work within 90 seconds of opening your eyes. Now, I know that sounds like a weird workaholic flex, but it is actually grounded in pure neuroscience. See, when you wake up, your sleep state brainwaves, which are theta and delta, are incredibly similar to the alpha-theta waves of flow. By diving into work immediately, you seamlessly ride that brainwave transition. Plus, honestly, in those first few minutes, the rest of the world just hasn't had the chance to impose its chaotic will upon you yet. Now let's look at Pillar 3, flow triggers, or hacking the state. If your blockers are removed and your proneness is high, triggers are the preconditions that actually pull you into the state. It's exactly like needing the right conditions to surf a wave. There are 3 core triggers here. First, clear goals. This is you spotting the exact wave you want to catch. You know exactly what you're aiming for. Second, immediate feedback. This is like feeling the balance on your surfboard in real time and adjusting your weight accordingly. You instantly know if you're doing it right or wrong. And third, the challenge skills balance. This is making sure the wave isn't so massive it crushes you, but not so small that it's just completely boring. In our daily work, we really need to intentionally engineer these three elements into our mundane tasks to turn them into flow-rich environments.
And what's truly fascinating is the precise math behind that third trigger, 4%. Research actually shows that the mathematical sweet spot for the challenge skills balance is engaging in tasks that are exactly 4% harder than your current skill level. This is the precise edge between boredom and anxiety. Think about it. If it's too easy, you totally tune out. If it's too hard, you panic. But at exactly 4% out of your comfort zone, your brain is absolutely forced to hyperfocus, which instantly drops you right into flow.
And that brings us to our final pillar, Pillar 4, the flow cycle, which acts as our dimmer switch.
As Dr. Herb Benson noted in the breakout principle, flow is a dimmer switch, not a simple light switch. And it happens in a very distinct biological sequence across 4 stages. Stage 1 is the struggle. When you first sit down to work, your brain releases cortisol and norepinephrine. It feels uncomfortable. You squirm. You kind of want to check your phone. And the sad truth is, most people spend their entire careers stuck right in this phase, just giving up and distracting themselves. But if you push through, you hit stage 2, release. You briefly step away from the problem mentally, and your brain dumps dopamine, which actually pops you right out of the struggle. This plunges you straight into stage 3, flow. Here, your prefrontal cortex actually deactivates, allowing for rapid, instinctive, completely frictionless decision-making. And finally, stage 4, recovery. Because flow is highly neurochemically taxing, your brain absolutely needs time to replenish and integrate all those new skills you just learned. So the absolute key to mastering the flow cycle is really just surviving stage 1. This requires a technique we call task persistence via attention span stretching. Think about it like hanging from a pull-up bar. If you hang every single day, eventually you'll actually stretch your spine and grow slightly taller. Well, your attention span works the exact same way. It is a muscle. When you feel that urge to quit reading a difficult book or to step away from some deep work, just add 1 more minute. Stretch your attention, max out your mental reps. You literally have to teach your brain to sit in that uncomfortable struggle phase just a little bit longer until that release naturally happens. So, to wrap this all up, removing your 21st century blockers, optimizing your morning proteness, hacking those 4% challenge triggers, and finally pushing through the struggle cycle. That is your ultimate blueprint to elite performance. So the question I want to leave you with is this. How far will you stretch your attention span tomorrow? Are you going to give in at the very first wave of cortisol, or will you stretch it out to reach that incredible peak performance that is waiting for you on the other side? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, and help us build the hype. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.